All right, I haven't done a movie review in a long time, so I'm going to be talking a little bit about Bohemian Rhapsody and my issues with it. Um, so this movie stars Rami Malek as the lead role. Fred Mercury, I forgot what his biological name is. Um, Mike Myers is also in it. I don't know. I need to research more of the cast. I wasn't too excited for this film. I know there's a lot of buzz about it right now. Audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is a 93. Critic score is a 55. Well, no, 50. Let me see real quick. A 59. And I can understand why. The film definitely suffers from a huge pacing issue. I mean, I think in the first maybe 20 minutes or so, spoiler alert, he gets married to Mary? I think that's what her name was. And I feel like that's where a lot of the film suffers from. It's just the pacing issues. Some of the script a little bit too. I feel like um, this will be a bit of a spoiler review. Maybe not even a full review. I don't know. Just well, for one thing, I wish that I'm gonna call it a 2014 Godzilla problem where Gareth Edwards would have the two kaiju's facing off. The famous airport scene where Godzilla growls and roars and it's glorious. Then it cuts to the kids sleeping. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I don't understand, man. Like, I came to watch a movie about music, and trust me, there's a lot. But it's just, I want them to have, like, more time to show the creative process. They do, I think, a couple montages, and that was it. And that, I don't know, it just didn't feel very fulfilling. And also the conflict, the internal conflict with, Freddie Mercury and him having to battle more of his AIDS. Well, having to battle the AIDS disease that he contracts, and I don't know. There's one shot that stood out to me. It was they were performing Bohemian Rhapsody, name of the movie, and all the critics' reviews were typed across the screen, and it had the famous four. I guess like the group of them like in that picture, like the it was the movie's version, but I don't know. The stakes weren't that high either. Like shit, I just saw the trailer for that Smash Bros. Ultimate. Weighs a lot of stakes. Basically Nintendo's Infinity War, but I feel like so there is a scene, I believe it's after the press conference. He's all strung out. That actually hurt my eyes. Like, the corners are very blurry. The camera, sorry, my phone was dying. The camera was just well, the press conference, like the cameras were flashing, and it was hurting my eyes. I had to rub my eyes and just make sure I could see and all that. But I just feel like this film misses a lot of opportunity, especially dealing with the actor that played Paul. What was his last name? I don't know. The actor that played Paul. I wish they had delved more into the destructive behaviors that he was basically, you know, making Freddie do, like drugs and drinking, and I guess smoking, because during the end of the film, he learns he has HIV. He goes to the doctor. I wish maybe there was a scene where he was actually emotional about it instead of just very stolid. And I think that the time skip, the time skip, it just got to me. Like they skipped from 1982 to 1984 after the press conference, I believe, and they don't really do too much with Paul's character. I mean, sure, they make him out to be a little manipulative when Jim Beach, I think that was his name, when they had him talking with Freddie regarding the CBS deal. I think that's what it was, for a two album solo gig, I guess. They offer him $4 million. He tells the band eventually, but I feel like it just should have been delivered maybe earlier, I think. And also, there were a couple times in the film where the band, it seems that they're gone for good, but they're not. And I wish they had hammered that a little more too. Like, so there's a scene. They don't really show it in the movie. I think they kind of make it. The editing is a little clever, so they don't really ruin it. But when he is in the rain, he's trying to tell Mary that he still cares about her, and that he needs to slow down, Fred. Um, I feel like Paul should have been maybe like more intimidating, I guess, because they were trying to make him a sort of a villain-esque character, I feel like. And I don't know, it just didn't really work for me. I wanted to see more of, like I said, Paul's like motives, which were a little clear, but they could have fleshed him out a little more, especially, you know, maybe when Fred, I think when he starts to, cough up blood and he's losing his voice. I don't know. I just feel like they should have broken the band up maybe earlier, like during that little 2 year, we'll call it breakup because that's essentially what it was. And they foreshadow it, I think, twice in the film. Wish they hadn't done that, but it's okay. Um, Other than that, Mike Myers was in the film. The only reason I knew it was him, I didn't look on IMDb or Wikipedia or just Google in general. I just heard his accent breaking a little bit, which is fine. Rami's broke a little bit too during the film. Um, but his teeth. We have to talk about his teeth. They gave him fake teeth to wear because Freddie Mercury was born with four incisors, I believe, and that's why he was able to go so many octaves lower and higher. And that part of the film really shined, shone. It really was great. I mean, his voice was sure it was dubbed over and stuff, but I really enjoyed it. A lot of the music was great. But like I said, if they had just maybe shown a little more of the creative process of the band, um, I think that could have been better. Script could have used a little work, maybe more memorable shots. I mean, sure, the crowd shots when they're at concerts is nice, but aside from that, no real stakes. I mean, the band nearly breaks up, twice. And for me, I wish they had a scene where when Freddie, he loses his voice when they rehearse, and this was a week before the Live Aid big concert. I wished maybe there was a scene where he was singing to himself, and when he says "Mama," he really has to have his voice pronounced very high. There's a scene where he says even if he tried to hit a bad note, he would have trouble doing it because his voice was that good. And I think that, mm, I think that if he was singing to himself, maybe like the night before, he was trying to, get his vocal cords back, and maybe he would cry about it, and he would maybe call Mary and, say that he's made horrible mistakes. I feel like that could have been a good little redemption for his character, but I think the film just either forgets about it or just glosses over it. Because it is a bit of a long film. It's, over 2 hours, and I just don't know. Like I said, the music was great. I had no problem with it. That's basically it. My theater is getting Overlord. I am excited for it. Although the owner keeps the noise very loud, and I jump every time something happens. So I'll probably have a review a little later. As far as video games, I'm still trying to buy a console that is backwards compatible for PlayStation 1, because I do have some PlayStation 1 games. I haven't finished Spyro, I know. My channel has not been getting a lot of attention. Um, that is basically it. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I shall see you. Maybe I'll review Nutcracker. I'm not really one for kids movies like that. Um, Alita Battle Angel comes out next year, which looks very interesting. I like Christoph Waltz, and I like in the trailer they have the cover for New Divide by Linkin Park. Very nice. But aside from that, that's basically it. I'll catch you guys later. Hope you enjoyed it, and comment what you think could have been better about the film. Or see, I'm not really a fan of Queen. I'm like a casual fan. I know in Shaun of the Dead they use a few Queen songs, or maybe just one. Um, I don't know. It was nice. I wish I could have fleshed out the other bandmates more too, but that's just me. Yeah, I liked Daredevil season 3. It had some things I liked, some things I didn't like, but it's basically it. I'll catch you guys when I catch you. See ya.